What if I told you that the biggest threat to your career trajectory right now isn't actually an algorithm automating your job?
Right, it's not the tech itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if the real threat is, the dopamine hit you get from just watching a 10-minute YouTube video about that algorithm?
Oh, that is such a massive trap right now.
It really is. I mean, we are constantly told to adapt, right,
Right.
to upskill, to ride the technological wave. But there's a huge difference between, like, feeling like you're learning and actually building real competence.
Yeah, you have to move past the whole theater of learning, I like to call it, and get into the actual architecture of execution.
Because the rules of professional viability, they're basically being rewritten underneath us while we're in the middle of playing the game. So if you're listening to this right now, whether you're like, I don't know, prepping for a high-stakes Q3 strategy meeting or just trying to keep your head above water in this sea of tech disruption, our mission today is fundamentally about your survival and growth.
It's a high urgency situation for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which brings us to the research we're diving into today. We have a really fascinating stack of notes focused on a specific topic. It's called Future-Proofing Your Career Through AI and Data Science Skills.
And looking through all this data, there's just this one massive kind of intimidating question that drives the whole conversation.
Right. The hook. With artificial intelligence shifting the foundation of literally every industry, how do you build a skill set that actually stays relevant?
That is the million-dollar question.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I think we need to start by looking at what the actual baseline of the corporate world is right now, before we can even diagnose why so many people are failing to adapt.
Yeah, establishing that baseline is critical because the reality in this research is pretty uncompromising. AI is just, it's no longer this localized experimental thing relegated to, Silicon Valley.
Right, it's not just for the tech pros anymore.
Exactly. It's actively rewiring every major industry. The sources specifically list technology, marketing, finance, healthcare, education, and just general business operations.
I mean, that covers virtually the entire modern economy.
It really does. The era of saying AI is an IT initiative, that's completely over. It's totally exited the niche category.
So it's basically a fundamental requirement now, kind of like the adoption of the internet or the personal computer back in the day.
That's a great way to look at it. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a shift from a niche technical discipline to a core career advantage in almost every profession you can name.
Yeah, it's moving from the IT department right to the marketing director's desk.
Exactly. Take marketing, for instance. AI isn't just, sending automated emails anymore.
Right.
It's utilizing clustering algorithms, systems that process millions of consumer data points to find hidden purchasing patterns that a human analyst could literally never spot in a spreadsheet.
Oh, wow. Or look at healthcare administration. I mean, it's not just about robot surgeons. It's data science models analyzing local weather patterns and traffic data.
Yes, and historical flu outbreak metrics.
Exactly. All to optimize emergency room staffing schedules weeks in advance. That's the new operational standard.
And the nuance here, which is where a lot of really smart professionals get tripped up, is that you don't need to be a software engineer to survive this shift.
Right. You aren't being asked to build a large language model from scratch.
No, not at all. You don't need to code the neural networks, but you absolutely must understand how those systems apply to your specific desk.
The best analogy I can think of is knowing how to read a P&L, a profit and loss statement.
Oh, that's a perfect comparison.
Because, like, 20 or 30 years ago, maybe only the accountants and the CFO needed to really understand a balance sheet. But today, if you're a VP of operations who can't read a P&L, you can't defend your budget. You can't justify your strategy. AI is essentially the new P&L.
That's incredibly accurate. You don't need to be the accountant building the ledger, but you have to know how to read it. It's all about strategic application, not algorithmic creation.
Okay, so understanding AI applications is mandatory. It's the new baseline.
Yeah.
But that brings us to a really fascinating hurdle in our notes.
Right, the struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah?
If this is so incredibly critical, and everyone knows it's critical, why is the corporate world experiencing such a massive struggle to actually learn and integrate these skills?
Well, the diagnosis in the research is highly counterintuitive. The core problem is actually not a lack of motivation.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, professionals are terrified. They desperately want to learn this stuff. The actual bottleneck is a lack of structure.
Wait, there are millions of articles, videos, and tutorials out there.
Hey.
Shouldn't consuming all that content make you an expert? I mean, I can literally open a browser right now and ask an AI to teach me how to build an AI.
It seems totally logical, right?
Yeah, I can watch Stanford lectures for free on YouTube at 2x speed. I can download endless data sets.
But the cognitive mechanics of human learning, they work completely differently. The research directly tackles why that infinite buffet of free content actually works against us.
Okay, how so?
The problem with consuming random, unstructured content like a slick tutorial here, a podcast interview there, is that it creates this highly deceptive illusion of progress.
The illusion of progress. Wow, that sounds like a dangerous psychological trap.
It really is. It happens neurologically. When you watch a highly produced, perfectly edited 10-minute video explaining a neural network, your brain just follows the narrator's logic.
Right, you recognize the pattern.
Exactly. And your brain releases a little hit of dopamine because you feel a sense of comprehension. You feel smart.
But recognition isn't the same as recall.
Bingo. You haven't built the actual neural pathways to execute that concept. You just have a handful of disconnected puzzle pieces, but no structural framework, like no picture on the front of the box to know how they fit together.
So what happens when that same professional steps into a Monday morning strategy meeting and tries to, I don't know, actually use those fragmented concepts to solve a real business problem?
They experience paralyzing overwhelm. Because in the real corporate environment, the data is never perfectly clean and pre-sorted like it was in the YouTube tutorial.
Right, real-world business problems are messy. They're ambiguous.
Exactly. And without a structured learning path, the learner has no foundational methodology to fall back on when those variables get complicated.
So random consumption leads directly to this epidemic of overwhelm we're seeing. People are drowning in information, but they're like starving for actual capability.
That's a great way to phrase it. Structure is the only mechanism that converts passive consumption into active, reliable execution.
That makes perfect sense. It's like the difference between watching a Michelin star chef on a cooking show and actually knowing how to run the line in a commercial kitchen during a Friday night dinner rush.
Yes. You might know what the dish is supposed to look like, but you have no idea how to manage the heat or the timing.
Okay, so having diagnosed that exact problem, the randomness, the false dopamine hits, the crushing overwhelm our notes transition into a very specific structured solution.
This is where the theoretical discussion gets highly actionable. The documentation outlines a specific blueprint, the Tech Master AI and Data Science Certificate Program.
Right, and it lays out the exact architecture of this program. It's a 6-month structured track, and it heavily features specific interlocking components. Industry certifications, intensive hands-on labs, instructor-led training, and a rigorous capstone project.
What's fascinating here is how the underlying logic of this program makes a sharp, unforgiving distinction between just learning and career readiness.
Those are entirely different states of being, aren't they?
Absolutely. Learning is just passive absorption. Career readiness is the proven ability to generate business value under pressure.
So let's dissect those elements because they seem engineered specifically to dismantle that illusion of progress we just talked about. Let's take the instructor-led training component first.
Sure. So instructor-led training addresses the highest friction point in technical education, which is the plateau.
Like hitting a wall.
Exactly. When you're studying complex systems, you will inevitably hit a cognitive wall. You'll encounter a concept that simply does not compute.
And if you're learning randomly on your own via YouTube, that wall is where your journey ends. You just close the tab.
Right. But an instructor provides a dynamic feedback loop. They can look at your specific point of confusion, reframe the math into a business analogy you actually understand, and physically pull you over that wall.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The timeline itself is a mechanism for success. It's a 6-month program.
Yes, that is highly intentional.
Right. It's not some 48-hour weekend boot camp where you cram a glossary of tech jargon into your short-term memory.
Only to have it evaporate by Tuesday morning.
Exactly. But crucially, it's also not a 2-year academic master's degree that completely pulls you out of the workforce while the industry just evolves without you.
A 6-month timeline mirrors a corporate Q1, Q2 strategic sprint. It provides the exact, sustained structure needed to cure the overwhelm.
A manageable roadmap with defined milestones. And integrated into that roadmap are the hands-on labs and the capstone project.
Which, from a pedagogical standpoint, are the true engines of actual career readiness.
Let's explain the mechanics of that.
Yeah.
What is a lab or a capstone actually forcing the brain to do that a video doesn't?
They force the uncomfortable transition from abstract theory to tangible friction. A hands-on lab demands that you apply the conceptual framework immediately in a sandbox environment.
But the capstone project is the ultimate trial by fire. Right.
Absolutely. A genuine capstone does not hand you a neat, prepackaged spreadsheet. It simulates the chaos of the real business world.
Oh, I bet.
It hands you a messy, incomplete data set, maybe a massive file of customer interaction logs with missing values, mismatched formatting, and just blatant outliers.
Ah, the dreaded dirty data.
Exactly that. You have to clean that data, standardize it, choose the correct machine learning model, train it, test for biases.
And ultimately generate a tangible business insight that a non-technical stakeholder could actually understand.
Yes. It aggressively strips away the illusion of progress. You cannot fake your way through a capstone project just by nodding along to a narrator.
Right. You either build the algorithm that cleans the data or the model fails. It's totally binary.
And the psychological result of that friction is profound. When you emerge from a capstone project, you are holding undeniable proof of competence.
You've constructed a tangible, future-ready asset that you can immediately deploy in your current corporate role. You're officially career-ready.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've established the reality that AI applications are now a universal baseline. We've deconstructed why random learning creates a dangerous illusion of progress. And we've analyzed the specific blueprint of the TechMaster program to cure that overwhelm.
Right.
But now I want to elevate this deep dive to what I view as the ultimate philosophical takeaway from the research. It's this fundamental paradigm shift in how we categorize these capabilities in our own minds.
This is the critical psychological pivot. If a professional fails to make this mental shift, honestly, all the tactical tools won't even matter.
The insight from the data is really profound here. It says AI and data science are not just technical skills anymore. They are career skills.
No, that distinction changes everything.
It does. You don't future-proof your career by waiting for clarity. You future-proof it by aggressive, structured learning. So what does this all mean? Like, how should the professional listening right now mentally recategorize their relationship with AI?
It requires dismantling the psychological safety net we have all built for ourselves over the last decade.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, for a long time, classifying AI strictly as a tech skill was a highly convenient defense mechanism.
Let's be honest, it was an excuse.
Totally.
If I tell myself, I'm a creative director, I don't do math,
Yeah.
or I'm an HR, my job is human, not artificial,
Yeah.
I'm utilizing that old classification. By labeling it a tech skill, I'm giving myself permission to ignore it.
Right. It becomes the IT department's problem, not yours.
Exactly.
But the reality documented in our sources is stripping that excuse away permanently. By explicitly redefining AI and data science as career skills, the market is placing them in the exact same foundational category as leadership, critical thinking, or basic communication.
Wow. Think about that. Imagine a candidate interviewing for a VP role today and casually stating, I don't really do communication. That's not my department. I just focus on the product.
The interview would be over in 30 seconds.
They would literally be laughed out of the boardroom.
And we are rapidly accelerating toward the day, not 10 years from now, but incredibly soon, where stating, I don't really understand how AI impacts my department's workflow will be viewed as equally disqualifying.
Viewing these technologies as core career skills makes them non-negotiable. They aren't a bonus section at the bottom of a resume anymore. They are the underlying utility required for professional viability.
This raises an important question, though. Are you waiting for your industry, your CEO, or your direct competitors to force you into this transition? Or are you taking proactive ownership of your own career readiness right now?
The technological wave is already broken. You can either construct a surfboard or you can get pulled under the current.
But standing on the beach, debating the temperature of the water, is just no longer a viable career strategy.
No, it's not. The future of the corporate landscape isn't a weather event that simply happens to you while you wait indoors. It's an environment you must actively equip yourself to navigate.
If you're waiting for a formal mandate from your HR department, you are already years behind the execution curve.
Which brings us to the ultimate synthesis of everything we've analyzed today.
Yeah.
You just cannot future-proof a career through passive observation or by hoping your legacy skill set will miraculously carry you through to retirement.
That is a catastrophic gamble. Strategic action, specifically through structured, high-friction learning, is the only real insulator against irrelevance.
And the documentation provides a highly targeted avenue for that exact action. If you're ready to bypass the overwhelm, if you want to stop collecting disconnected YouTube tutorials and actually forge real battle-tested skills, You require a rigorous framework.
And the recommended framework is explicit. For those ready to make the transition from passive learner to active practitioner, exploring the Tech Master AI and Data Science program at SkillUp Online is the logical next step.
Right.
Our notes end with a specific, highly relevant directive. This is ESCO-AP, where skills meet the future.
I love that. You have to force your capabilities to intercept the future before it arrives at your desk.
Right.
We've established today that AI and data science are the new literacy. They are the new P&L statement.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, the listener, with one final lingering thought experiment. Picture a hiring manager's desk or a highly competitive promotion review board exactly 5 years from today. We know the rules of the game are changing. So what happens to the resume of the professional who decided right now in this critical window of opportunity that they were simply too busy to embrace structured learning?
That's a chilling thought.
When the entire corporate ecosystem has adopted this new operational baseline, where does that leave the person who chose the illusion of progress over the friction of real growth? Think about that.